There's a really easy way to increase your speed of play and your confidence on the golf course, and it's all about decision making. At this time of year, I'm seeing a lot of amateur golfers still working on their technique where they really should be working on their decision making, which simply means that when you actually get to your golf ball, you should really already know what shot you're going to take and what club you're going to take. And that is something that I see an awful lot of amateurs struggling with. They're often not sure which club, whether they should be chipping, pitching, or even putting the ball around the green. And this is something that you can quite simply practice. When I come to a golf ball, really, the first thing I'm looking at is the distance I am away from the hole. In fact, I've got, I suppose, in simplistic terms, almost like an Excel table in my head, which is got a certain rows and numbers, which are basically telling me what is the situation and then giving me the answer of which club I should be taking. So here, if I have, say, a 10 or 12 yard chip with around about 2/3 of the chip being carry, then I already know that I'm going to be going in there with a pretty lofted club and I'm going to be chipping the ball. The question is, which one should I be taking? And in order to be confident that I've got the right club, then I've got to have had some experience of playing that shot in the past. I know we see a lot of tour professionals studying books with their caddies and talking to one another, but in a lot of cases they're simply justifying the decision that they've already made. I mean, when Rory's standing over a 12-yard chip, it's not as if it's the first one he's ever made, and he's probably hit from a similar situation many times in his life, and therefore all he's really doing is rinse and repeat. And for a lot of you, however, when you get onto a golf course, the golf course is still surprising you. It's still saying, well, you look at the lie of the ball, that's terrible, or, oh, I hope I don't land in the fringe because it might stop the ball, and you're more worried about what you don't want to do than what you do want to do. What you need to do is be able to say, gosh, I was doing that chip just the other day, so I know exactly what I've got to do here. And this allows you to not only make the decision far quicker and speed up your play, but also to hit the shot with far more confidence. To a certain extent then, it's just a question of how many rows do you want in your Excel table. The first thing I would be looking at is obviously the distance to the flag, and although we can eyeball it, it's probably a good idea to get some objectivity and actually pace it out. So I've got here around about a 9 meter, 10 yard chip with 6 yards of flight and to the edge of the green, and then obviously 4 yards of roll. The green is hanging a little bit to the left, so I'm going to have to aim a little bit right. And intuitively, I would grab the lob wedge with 58 degrees and just play a simple little chip shot here. So all I'm doing here is kind of looking for some kind of confirmation that that indeed is the correct choice. Once I've actually got the confirmation, that's it. I'm not going to stay here and try all of the clubs in my bag to see if I can actually get a better choice unless I really feel uncomfortable about the shot. But it wouldn't be strange for me to be able to go through a lot of shots of this kind of variety very quickly. If we look at the second flag, we're looking there at around about a 20-yard chip shot with the same amount of carry. So I've got around about a quarter flight and 3/4 of roll. There it's more a question of how much do I want the ball to roll? Do I want to throw it all the way to the flag, or do I want to land it at the beginning of the green? Now, like a lot of guys, when I've started playing, I always thought it was better to throw the ball all the way to the flag. I think it looks better, it feels better, and it certainly fills you with confidence when it works. So hitting the same shot or the same club to the back flag is something which I would like to be able to do. The question there though, and I know certainly intuitively, is it's probably not the safest choice. If I'm hitting a club with that kind of loft into that kind of target, I'm going to be taking a longer backswing, which, if nothing else, is going to complicate the way back to the golf ball. And especially if you're not very secure in your chipping technique, it might be better to keep the swing short where less can go wrong. Simply taking a bigger backswing means you're coming onto the golf ball with a little bit more club head speed, and were you then to top the ball, it's probably going to shoot over the green. So with this ball, I'm going to take a gap wedge, a 48-degree wedge. I'm aiming a bit to the right again. I'm just going to land it a little bit over the fringe end, so I've got a little bit of room to play with, and then see how that reacts. And you can see that that ball's just as good as the first ball with far less of the risk. So if I go into my Excel table now, I can say when I'm going into a 10-yard shot with over 50% of it being fringe, I'm likely to take my lob wedge and chip the ball. If I'm going into a 20-yard shot where only a quarter of it is fringe and the rest is roll, I'm probably going to go in there with my gap wedge. At some stage you're going to get to the choice of do you chip or do you pitch. Now for the majority of it, it's just a question of how far is the carry distance and how far is the roll distance. But it's also a question, how good are you at pitching and how good are you at chipping? If you're pretty confident with your chip, then it might well be better to chip the ball, even if you have a bunker or a hazard in front of you, as long as you know you have enough energy in your chip movement to get it over the bunker and then allow the ball to roll out on the other side. However, by pitching the ball using a bit of wrist action in your swing, you are going to be able to impart more spin on the ball. Spin's created by a combination of loft, angle of attack and club head speed. But more than anything, it's club head speed which increases the spin. And spin is not just a question of getting the ball to stop on the green. It also gives the ball lift, which means you can chip the ball and pitch the ball with exactly the same golf club, and the pitched ball is going to fly higher, land steeper and stop quicker. The question obviously is which club should be taking. So again, I would have a selection of wedges to try it out with. And I might even start off by chipping the ball to see exactly how far away would I be were I to chip the ball. And then basically, if I've decided that the pitch is the correct way to go, then I will see how confident and how consistent is my chip or pitch movement here. Again, I don't have to hit the perfect shot to make the decision. If I've hit it a little bit hard, but I know, okay, the next time I'm just going to take a little shorter backswing, but I feel confident about the shot, then that's going into my Excel table and the decision has been made. Again, whether you're chipping, pitching, or even putting the ball around the green, being confident means being able to look at past experience and saying, I can do this, and then basically hitting the shot. Unfortunately, a lot of you out there really haven't objectively collected this experience so that you can tell yourself with actual examples, I can do this. And therefore you're going into an awful lot of your shots with a certain amount of trepidation. And this might even be the same with your long game. If you're not sure how far you hit your 7-iron, or even worse, you believe to be able to hit it further than you can, you're going to make a lot of wrong decisions on the round. So getting objectivity into your game is probably the quickest way to not only increase your speed of play, but to increase your confidence. And I think we all know golf is really a game of confidence. I hope this helps you. If it does, hit that like button, maybe subscribe to the channel. I'll be back soon with the next one. Until then, goodbye.